You are now listening to the Going North podcast, where you'll receive tips and techniques to advance yourself. I'm your host, Dom Brightman, and every week we're going to be hearing from an author who's going to share their expertise to help you charge forward in life. On a quick side note, be sure to check out Going North the book. It's available in ebook, audio, as well as paperback form for those who love to read a traditional book. Now let's get on with the show.
And today on the Going North podcast, we have, you guessed it, another author once again. But this is not just any author. This author right here is a prolific artist. And this prolific artist right here believes in continuously challenging himself and creating various art forms of boldness and creativity. And this wonderful guest right here, he has a short film that he wrote and directed himself called Texting in New York City. So this is a first for this podcast. The person actually wrote his own set of books as well as directed a short film. And you're probably wondering who I got on this podcast. It's the one and only Mansu Edwards. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Dom. Again, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Woohoo! Glad to have you on the show, sir. I'm pretty sure there's some things I may have missed in the introduction. Mind filling in some things I may have missed? And tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been writing for a while. I would say about 10 years. My latest book is I have two, Emojis versus Punctuation Marks, Land of Refrigeration. That's the sequel to Emojis versus Punctuation Marks, Battle of the Keyboard. And my latest one is I have Can You Hold Please? And that's sort of a experimental crime fiction book. And I've just been writing for a while, man. Different genres. And as you said before, like I did the Texting in New York City, and that was based on the actual book called Texting in New York City as well. And the original book, it was just based on a series of text messages from different New Yorkers, but it was all fictional. And I went to Long Island University, that's in Brooklyn, and I studied film. My focus was screenwriting because I wanted to become a screenwriter. And so I did that. I went to New York Film Academy, and I took screenwriting as well. That was maybe for, I believe it was an 8-week course, I forget. And at the end of the course, we had to have an actual screenplay. And from there, when I was younger, I enjoyed writing, like writing assignments. It's not something that I did on my own, but whenever I was given an assignment to use my imagination, write stories, I pretty much enjoyed it, man. I excelled in it because I was able to create something of my own and to add life to the characters, add my own scenery. Like, I like anything that's artistic and that's basically outside the box, and I could bring feelings and showcase it to people. But, of course, not everything, because some things are kind of personal. But
you're right.
Yeah, but more than less, like I like seeing other people's reactions to what I write.
Oh, yeah, indeed, especially the latest book, Can You Hold Please? It's like dude, the guy should have saw it coming to me. It sounded too good to be true from the get-go. I don't know what was going on with bro in that one. Oh, good stuff, though.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it was just an idea that I had, man, for the Can You Hold Please. I'm also want to do a print version of it. But, yeah, it was basically about a guy. He has a regular job, and then his high school friend was telling him about an opportunity to join a startup that he was a part of. But the catch is that he has to get rid of the outstanding debt college debt that he has, and he also has to have a certain credit score. But his friend told him not to worry about the credit score, that the people of the organization, they will be able to fix it. And also, he wanted to pay half of the debt, his college debt, but the character Marks, he declines it because he decided to get a freelance gigs doing illustration, and he was making some extra money with the job that he already has. So he figured that he would be able to cover it, and the deadline is January 8th. And then, as you read it yourself, Dom, he goes through a lot of changes with the telemarketer, trying to pay off the debt. And during the recording, since the customer service is so bad, he receives an offer where he could win $10K because of the poor customer service. And so he's going through a lot of issues during the day. He has to take his friend's sister to a high school fair, and a lot of other things are going on as well. I think people will pretty much enjoy it.
Yeah, man, it kind of sounds like day-to-day life, so I imagine that's what inspires your writing.
Yeah, that inspires my writing, day-to-day life, and just like different ideas. Like I'll just think of an idea. Sometimes just doing anything. I could be walking down the street. I could be talking with someone, reading something, watching something, and then like I'll just have an idea, and I'll jot it down. Or I'll think to myself, yo, this sounds like a good idea, so let me just run with it and see what happens. Sometimes the ideas work, sometimes it doesn't, but if it doesn't work, I'll just work on another idea. I try not to stress it. I just try to go with the flow, because a lot of times as an artist, you have to just live life. And a lot of times when you live in life and you have different opportunities, different situations you go through, it will generate different ideas. I don't know why it's like that, but it's just like that. And with the ideas, you may be able to bring entertainment to someone's life, also inspire them to overcome their obstacles as well. But it's just a gift from God as well. So I have to attribute it to Him, because sometimes I don't even know where I get these ideas from. But I mean, it's through God, and it can also be through maybe thought transference. Like someone probably thought of the idea and it came to me because they didn't use the idea. Like you just never know sometimes. So God may just send me the idea and say, work with it. And I guess if I don't use it, He'll send it to somebody else. I just think that way, man. But that's just basically it. And just to see what comes with it, man, because it's a snowball effect, man. I mean, you never know how people will gravitate to an idea. It might be so out there that people don't understand it right away. They might not get it till maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or maybe a day later. Like you just never know, man. And sometimes you can just amaze yourself about the idea, what you've written as well. Because sometimes, like, I write something and I can't believe that I wrote it. And sometimes I'm just thinking, like, dang, man, this is some wild stuff I just wrote. For real, man. But hey, man, we all different, man. I just try to put a different spin on things. I don't want to be like anyone else.
Very true indeed, and it's pretty awesome that you're actually putting out some short books as opposed to extra long 300 to 800 page novels that no one will finish.
You know what? I never think about pages when I write. I just think about the story. That's what I do, and I just let the story dictate the amount of pages, man. I let the characters do everything, man. If I feel like it needs to end at this point, I'll just end it at that point. Like I'm not the type of person that add fluff to my material. Not saying that people that write 800-page books or 200-page books that they add in fluff, but I just like getting to the point, man. I don't like dragging stuff, and I think the reason I'm like that is because of the screenwriting background. Because with screenwriting, you have to get straight to the point. Like you can't get flowery with your language and with the plot. You have to get straight to the point. And so I think that's why most of my work is pretty much short, under 100 pages. Maybe that'll change later on, but I'm just not the type that I just like to just get Yeah, just get straight to the point, man. I know some people, they'll say, Dad, how come it's not longer? Or what have you. But a lot of powerful books, man, were under 800 pages or 200 pages or 100 pages, just like the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I don't even think that's 100 pages. That might be, like 90 pages, something like that. I think it all depends on the content. That's the most important thing, as long as someone has something relevant to say, something important to say, or something that motivates you or empowers you, make you laugh, bring joy to your life, and something that stands the test of time. Because I do think about that. I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I want my stuff, my writings or film, I want to stand the test of time. I want people to enjoy it even 1,000 years from now, man. I don't want it to be one of those projects that a person picks up the year 2040 and like, dang, people actually like this? or they doing reviews about books that came out in 2018 and you're like, wow, man, this aged terribly, because some things don't age properly. 1 year is high, 2 years is good, then 10 years from now you're like, dang, I actually like this, man. And you might put it on eBay or give it away or throw it out. You're like, yo, this is garbage, man. Yeah, but something that stands the test of time, you want to hold on to it, and you happily want to share it. Like, wow, listen to this. It still sounds good, man. And then you put the younger generation onto it. So I want my stuff to be classic. That's what I aim for.
That's a good aim, and I kind of like to call authorship the business of immortality, because it's written word, and written words will last longer than someone's life. I mean, Think and Grow Rich, that book has been around for ages upon ages. As a Man Thinketh has been around for ages. Yeah. And both of those men died 50-plus years ago.
Yeah, you're definitely right, man. You're definitely right, because that's one thing, man. You're not going to live forever. But the thing about life is that you want to have your ideas and legacy live on forever. Because if you think about it, even today, certain ideas been around for thousands of years, man. And these people that originated the ideas, they're not even here anymore, but you still have the followers, today's followers following certain people's ideas, man, whether it's a Malcolm X, whether it's a Martin Luther King, whether it's Gandhi or what have you. I mean, ideas are very powerful, man. And the one thing about ideas, it could lay dormant for a certain period of time, and then next thing you know, it develops like a resurgence maybe 10, 15 years from now, man. Ideas are very powerful, man. You can move a lot of people with ideas, man. You could change lives with certain ideas, whether it's good or bad. That's I would say maybe the yin and yang of ideas, man. Because everything that we do starts with an idea. Even when you wake up in the morning, your idea is to make money, maybe to take a vacation, to better yourself, to eat grits and eggs or what have you. It all starts with an idea, man. I mean, you just don't get up. Like, certain things are automatic, don't get me wrong, like breathing and your heart pumping, but a lot of it is an idea. Like, what business am I going to start today? Or who should I talk to today? Or she looks good, should I talk to her, or what have you? And then you just think of a plan of how you'll be able to achieve a certain goal, and you may break it down into step one. All right, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. Then you have to pivot, then you have to change certain ideas, because certain ideas just don't work, man. And some ideas is just not, it might just germinate for a while. Like, certain ideas, it may take a long time to develop. Like, you have like an incubation period. So a lot of times sometimes you might have to sit on the idea for a while, because you need other pieces of information, or you might need someone to actually help you push out the idea, or you might, like I said, just make changes to an idea. So it could go either way, man, but the best thing about it is also taking action towards your ideas, because a lot of us have ideas, but we don't take action towards it. We'll say, all right, I have this idea. We might be scared of it, like, what if it becomes successful, or what if it fails? Because that's another thing. A lot of us are scared of failure, and we don't want to look bad in front of people. because you might have told somebody, I'm going to do such and such, it's going to be real big, and it might fall apart. You just never know, man. It might not be as big as you think it's going to be. So that's the thing about it. But I respect any man, woman, or child that goes with an idea, whether it fails or not. They actually took action, man, because not every idea is going to work. You just taking a chance, man. That's basically it. But I think the more ideas you have, the more successful you have a chance to become, because you're just throwing a lot of ideas out there. Some may not work right away. Some may work maybe a couple of years from now, or might not. Or you might just have to throw out another idea. Like I said before, some people might not be ready for this idea, or this generation might not be ready for it. Maybe the generation after that, or who knows, the fourth generation after this generation, they might get it, because sometimes you could be ahead of your time as well, and that happens to artists, man. Like when they were alive, and the projects that they pushed out, or the art that they pushed out, a lot of people wasn't gravitating towards it, and some of them, man, they was working their tail off, and some end up dying, man. And I mean, it's kind of sad. Like the guy Kerouac, he was an alcoholic, man, and he died from alcoholism. And I don't know if it was because of his art not going anywhere. I'm not sure, because after he died, then his art became popular, man. Sometimes that happened, man. But I think every artist I know, myself, like I want to get my roses now, man.
Darn straight.
I want to get it now, man. But it's all according to God's will, man. But I want to be one of those that get it now while I'm healthy and everything is on point, man. For real, I can just actually enjoy it, man. And I'm a young man and enjoy it, man.
Amen to that. And you said something very true, is that you have an idea and it may need to go through an incubation period. And it's really great that you said that, because a lot of folks, they maybe want to write books of their own. There may be a person out there listening to this podcast may want to write their own book. So any advice you want to give to folks like those who may be in their incubation period waiting to polish and publish their work?
Yeah, my advice is write and just let the public decide, man. That's what I would say, because then you don't want to deal with perfectionism, because that's what can happen as well. I dealt with it as well when I was a screenwriter, and I remember working on a script, and I was talking with someone, and he was a screenwriter, and he was saying, man, you can't just you can't just keep restarting. And that's what I would do. Like I would write, then I would restart. I was like, this doesn't sound good. Let me restart it, and you'll never get it done. What I would suggest is, as a writer, write it, edit it, or hire an editor, however you want to do it, and just put it out there, man. Let the masses decide, man. Maybe it might be a hit, maybe it won't, but always think that it's only one book, man. You got to write many more books, man. Just don't put your hopes and dreams in one book. It's only a book, man. That's what I think I can say. Don't stress yourself out for me. I know it's gonna be costly or what have you, and I know this is your baby, but man, you gotta have so many different babies, man. So don't even worry about it, and always just have something else lined up. That's basically it. Just put it out there and work on the next thing, man. Always have your ideas ready. That's why I suggest, like, you always write down. You just write down your ideas, different ideas that you have, man. So you're just not stuck on one idea. Because if you just have one idea down, then you're putting your hopes and dreams on one idea that might not just pop. But then if you think about it, what if it does pop? And if it does pop, people gonna want to know what else have you written? What else do you have going on? So if you just focus on that one idea, it's like people might move on to the next author or another creative, and it might put extra pressure on yourself as well. So if you have a lot of different ideas, a lot of things written, you can just put it out after that. If that works, if it does well, that's great. Put out another project. If it works, it doesn't, so what? At least you have like a platoon of different ideas to put out in the market. Maybe it might not be as popular as the first one. Maybe it might be even more popular. I mean, you just never know. But it just takes the stress off of it, because that's like anything. Like if you have like, say if you're going for a job, you got to apply to different jobs. And then when you apply to different jobs, 3 might be interested out of maybe 10 or what have you. So it takes less stress. It relieves you of the stress, and then you can go into maybe the 6th interview, and you're more relaxed and calm. And I think the same thing goes with writing as well. And you're always going to get better, because the more you write, the more you get better. So you're going to find out that during the exercise, the writing's going to get it's going to become more crisp. But I would also suggest reading a lot too, because when you read a lot, you'll find different ways to tell a story. And then you'll be introduced to other writers, their writing style. Not to say to copy their writing style, but it'll give you a certain outlook on how different people write. And maybe you could combine it and develop your own style, and to check out different genres as well. Don't stick to one genre. And if you happen to maybe you're unsure of what to write, just use that time to just read and research, man. That's basically it, and just live life. But like I said before, just put your stuff out there, man, and let the public decide. If you fail, don't worry about it. People are gonna forget once you get a book that's hot, that a lot of people are into. They're gonna forget all about the failure, man. So that's what I say. Just keep going. When you write, also be careful of people's opinions as well. I'm not saying to think that you're the greatest writer ever, but also think about where this person is coming from. They might not understand the story, but 1,000 other people might understand the story. Like, man, I mean, you never know. Maybe the people, they're not into that particular genre, or maybe they're not readers. So be careful who you ask. That's basically it. That's all I would say. And and just stay positive with it, man. Listen to motivational material, read blogs, I would suggest. But the most important thing is put it out there. A good book on art is by Stephen Pressman. What is it called? The Art of War? No, the War of Art. And so he gives suggestions on being a professional, and a professional compared to an amateur. And he talks about working on your craft constantly, and what the difference between a professional and an amateur is. So I think that would be a good book to read. But yeah, just put it out there in a nutshell.
There you go. And speaking of putting it out there, you think you're going to be doing any more short films or any type of films in the future?
Yeah, I have an idea about a film. I don't want to speak too much about it, because it's still very early, because I'm also working on these other projects. But yeah, I'm going to put out another film. And what else? And books. I'm going to write more books as well. Like I said, the print edition of Can You Hold Please? That'll be out. What else? In Emojis versus Punctuation Marks. That's a trilogy, so I'm going to do part 3 to that. What else? I have some other ideas, too, of projects I'm going to put out, more books. It's too early to say what's the next one going to be after Can You Hold Please? But I have a couple of ideas. But yeah, man, I'm just going to stay busy, man, just keep producing.
Wise policy, man, wise policy. So any tips out there for those who want to stay productive and actually manage all of that properly? Because you put out a bunch of work, and some folks are still trying to put out some work. So any advice you want to give to those who just want to stay productive and just manage all the projects?
Man, to be productive, man, you just got to just keep working, man. There's a lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of sacrificing too, man. I mean, you can't, if you want to be productive, you're going to have to sacrifices you're going to have to make. It's going to include family. It's going to include partying, hanging out. And you just have to just think about what you want to do with your life, man. I don't know where people are in their life, but you got to think am I comfortable where I am right now, or do I want to focus on my goals and my dreams where I want to go? But if I'm willing to put in that work, like for instance, if you work in a job, you go put in excess amount of work. But when you're working on your project, you're going to put in way more work than working at a job. So are you willing to do that? Are you willing to sacrifice a relationship as well? Because sometimes we may put other things ahead of our dreams and our gifts that God gave us, and we're not going to be here forever. I mean, we'll be here in spiritual form, but we're not going to be here forever. So you got to think about how old you are at the time. You got to think about, hey, man, will I have enough energy when I get older to do certain projects, man? Because you have to, of course, you have to eat right, diet right. That means a lot too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not the ultimate case in fitness. I do my best, man, but I just think you have to think about what legacy you want to leave, man, because nobody remembers a person that partied till he was like 40 or 50 years old, or a woman that partied for 40 or 50 years old, like later on in life, like people that actually did something. Those are the people that are remembered, man, the people that made a difference and went for their dreams, man, because today is just another day, man, but again, it's another chapter in your life, man, because if you're 23 years old, this is your 23rd chapter, man, so you got to think about, these people I'm hanging out with, are they beneficial to what I need to be doing, man, because what you're doing could feed you and your family for generations, man, if you put in that work, man. Of course, it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to be like, dang, man, I really want to do this. I want to go to this party or be with this girl right now. But then you think about it, man, these people not going to be here forever, man. Their feelings might change for you, but your gift will always be there unless you don't use it. Because even in the Bible, I remember God, like he was pissed because the people that he gave the talents to, one person didn't use any of the talents, and he was pissed off. So you got to think about your talent, man, to bring you everything that you actually want, man. The talent, if you work on it, as you see in real life, it'll bring you the women, it'll bring you the money, it'll bring you the opportunity to change people's lives, man. Because if you think about it, if you're not productive, man, you're helping somebody else achieve their dreams, man. And then you're just going to grow bitter, you're going to be upset, then you're going to be like, I'm not really going anywhere, man. It's going to be monotonous. Unless if you really like your job. That's cool. But to be productive, you just got to put your heart and soul into it. It's like anything else, man. Even when we were kids, we put our heart and soul in the video games. If it's something we wanted to do, I mean, it's something that people don't have to tell us to be productive about it, about playing certain video games, whether it's Halo or what have you, or Street Fighter, any of those games. You was productive because you wanted to do it. So so you spent that many hours and days and reading different magazines and cheat codes and getting information from your friends just to beat M. Bison or get to the final level of video games. So it's just all about drive, man. And then you don't want to have regrets in life. That's the thing about it, because that's going to piss you off too. You're going to be like, dang, if I would have used my time differently, man, I would be somewhere else right now, man. I wouldn't be going through this same struggle and pain. Even though when you're going after your dreams, you're going to have some struggles. Don't get me wrong, man. You're going to go through your dusty periods, as Tariq Nasheed, and you're gonna struggle, man. I mean, it's times you're gonna be hungry, times you're gonna be angry. You're looking at other people, dag. You're gonna be like, dag, man, why couldn't I be there right now, man? I'm over here struggling. You're gonna be like, dag, is it all worth it, man? Then you might second guess, be like, dag, am I really right? But then something's telling you that you are right, but you have to go through this in order to reach the promised land, man, to show you that, to see if you really want it, because God tests you. If you say you want to do something, of course he gives you the gift, but he's testing you to see, does he really want it, or is he just playing around, or she just playing around? So he's going to throw obstacles, man. So it might take you 10 years to complete it, but he's trying to see if you're dedicated and you persistent. And it's just gonna be a lot of tests. It's gonna be every day, man. It might be with family, man. Like, Dad, though you was cool, man. That crumbles. You know, like I said before, yo, I'm hungry right now, man. But you going after that dream, so you got to be a little bit hungry today, man.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not sleeping right, man. You're going for that drink, so now you got to sleep for 4 hours.
Sometimes no hours.
that too. Sometimes no hours, man. And sometimes you might not have anybody in your corner as well. It's like, dang, I'm working on this, but I need help, man. But then God eventually, he'll bring you somebody. You just got to keep working on it and meeting different people. But the thing about it, everything starts clearing up after a while, man. I mean, you go through this dark period where everything falls apart, where your relationships fall apart, man. You might end up being homeless, where people turn on you, man. It's just so many different things, but it's just to show you that you're going to another place, and what the area where you are now, man, these people are not a part of where you're going. So he's cutting off these attachments, man, because where you're going is not where the rest of the people are going, man, because we all have our different destinations, and you keep pushing forward, man, it's going to be a friction because you're on a different vibe, you're on a different wavelength compared to the others, man, even though you might try to help and people become resistant or what have you, or some people might become jealous, man, just don't want to deal with you no more, man. They miss the old you, where you was just going about your day and not caring, so it's just a lot that goes into it, but you definitely got to feed your mind, man. Definitely do that, because if you don't feed your mind, you're not going nowhere. So you got to listen to a lot of positive material, read a lot of positive material. I'm not saying, of course, you can't watch rated R movies or things of that nature. I mean, we all human, but I'm just saying you just have to feed your mind totally different. You got to move differently, man. You just got to break away from the old you, and a lot of people have problems with that, breaking away from the old you, because you're so used to doing certain things, man. And then it's like, dang, man, if I want to go to another level, I got to change. I can't be doing this no more. I can't be around some people, man. And it hurts sometimes, man, because you've been around certain people for a long time. You've been doing certain things, but if you want to go to the other level, man, you have to burn off a lot of bad habits, too, because that's another thing you find out. If you want to be productive, you have some bad habits. You got to be like, you know what, I got to cut this off, man. I got to go to bed earlier. I got to work out now. I got to eat better. I can't complain like I used to. I can't be around people that's not going anywhere, man, and just negative. It's a lot, man. It's not going to all happen in a day. It might happen in a period of maybe 4 years, 5 years, 2 years, because a lot of the stuff is incubating as well. It's incubating in your mind and in your being. And then eventually everything just starts connecting. And then it's like, okay, I get it now. Then you become stronger, you become wiser, especially when you keep making progress. That's the most important thing. You become happier as well. And people can see it. You glowing. I mean, your steps are a lot stronger. It's like you just become better, man. And you attract better people as well, man. And you start looking at the people that you were with before, and you thinking like, Dad, why was I with them? But then you thinking that you was at a different level in your life, man. But once you start leveling up, things do get better, man. Just trust me. You just got to hang in there. It's not always easy because it tests your patience as well, man. Because you think about it, Dad, why is it not happening right now, man? I did this, I did that, I did this. I don't see nothing. And then after a while, you start seeing the progress because you keep planting seeds. So that's the thing about it. Keep planting seeds. Just don't give up. Keep going. And don't worry about what other people are saying, too, because other people know when you change and they might try to throw you off your course, so you just got to keep going, man. That's basically it. And believe in yourself, man, and always better yourself. Always be better than what you are. Forget about people saying, yo, this is good. All right, this is good, but always strive to be better because then you could become complacent. All right, they said this is good. Let me just keep doing this, but always strive for more.
That's right, baby. Strive for more. And if you were to go back in time and you were 25 in the current year of 2018, what advice would you give to yourself?
Dad, if I was 25, not to waste time, man. Time is very precious because in my 20s, I wasted a lot of time, man. I wasted a lot of time. And the thing about it, I would give another piece of advice is you can't be around everybody. And it took me a while to realize that, because it's good to be cool with people, but some people you just can't be around, man, because it's an albatross. Like, they hold you back, and their limited mindset rubs off on you. Then you start thinking like how they're thinking, talking like they're talking, and a lot of times you think that these people, they the God of the world, man, even though they're not gods, but their word is gospel. And then at the end of the day, when you start becoming better and start working on yourself, you're like, dang, man, yo, what they saying, that's not real. It's not real what they saying. Then you think about the thought process, like, why were they telling me this? Like, you start thinking, like, maybe they was doing this just to hold me back, or it's just the fears that they had, and they trying to throw it on me because they were fearful, so they want me to be fearful as well. They don't want me to go for it or to think for myself, because a lot of people, they want to do the thinking for you. They want to implant that on your mind, that they want you to have the same lifestyle that they had. And so you have to think for yourself, what kind of life I want, man. You don't have to have the same life as your mother, your father, or your aunt, or your niece, or your brother or sister, man, because we all different. We all have a different assignment from God. And so you have to be your own person, and it takes a lot of mental strength, man, because you are hearing from all angles, people telling you what you should do, what you need to do, and we did it this way, and a lot of businesses fail, a lot of people don't go nowhere, or it's a 1 in a million chance. Yo, you can't listen to that, man. I mean, you could listen to it, but don't follow that, man, because a lot of stuff I listen to, I just don't follow. So it's a difference. You could listen to it, be like, all right, yeah, all right, but just keep thinking and following your gut, your intuition. That's the most important thing. Like, you know what, I can do it. I could be one of the people that made it, because you never know the reason why a person didn't make it. It could be because of attitude. They just gave up. They had bad vibe. They didn't plan properly. So it could be a lot of different things, because we see it every day. Some people, they have all the time in the world, but it's just their vibe, man. They make poor decisions, because a lot of people out here make bad decisions, man. And that hurts a lot, too. You got to make good decisions. And I'm not saying that every decision you make is going to be good. You do the best you can. We all going to fail sometimes. Be like, dang, that was a bad decision. But then after a while, you got to think, like, where will this decision take me? I'm not saying all decisions. Like, of course, if you got to go to the bathroom. But certain decisions, you got to think about it. You got to think about you got to think about it, like, why does this make sense? How is this benefiting me? And you got to take it there, because some decisions could hold you back. Some bad decisions, it could hold you back for 5 years, 6 years, and being around certain people could hold you back for 10 years, man, because certain decisions you made. So I think that's the most important thing. But don't be scared to make decisions. That's the thing about it. Think about it, reflect, and just go for it, man. If you got to make a change, make a change, man. There's nothing wrong with changing your route, man. We do it all the time. So I would say that, and accept who you are as well, because in a society, people don't like you to be yourself. I noticed that as I got older. They want you to be them, and some people actually get mad because you don't think like them and you don't follow in their footsteps. Like, nah, I don't do this. Nah, I'm doing this. Nah, I don't believe that. Some people actually get mad, so you gotta be willing to stand alone, man. You gotta have so much faith that you don't care about what other people think about you, or what other people are saying about you, what other people are doing. I mean, you just have to have tunnel vision. But, of course, sometimes a person, you have to think about why they're telling you this as well. If it's someone you could trust, of course, you give it some thought. Like, there's nothing wrong with having counsel from wise people. You take it into consideration, but still, it's your choice whether to act on it or not. They're just your advisor, so you don't have to go with everything that they're saying, because they're human as well, because maybe your opinion or your approach is better than theirs, man. I mean, you just never know. You just never know, but you got to that's something that you got to assess, and you got to sleep on it, because, like, some people, they might give you advice, and they're not going where you're going. They never attempted what you attempted. They never did what you did. So you got to think about, why they telling me that, man? Because the thing about it could be throwing a monkey wrench in it. You know what? Let me get this guy off course, or this female off course, by telling them something. And then you follow it. Next thing you know, they set you back from your ultimate achievement, your ultimate success. Because if you think about it, when you succeed, man, you're going to make a lot of people look bad. People that thought it wasn't possible, the people that didn't go after their dreams, they was too scared. So if you make it, man, you're going to make a lot of people mad. Some people are going to be happy. Don't get me wrong. You have those that you inspire, that you empower. Because once you do something, other people, of course, everybody's looking. They might pretend that they're not looking, but they looking and they watching. You might inspire some that say, you know what, he went for it. Yo, why can't I do it, man? Or, you know what, I'm going to start working on my goals or my dreams or what have you. And they might come back to you later on in life and say, you know what, you inspired me, you encouraged me. I'm not saying to look for that, but it might just happen, man. You might take them to another level too, man. They might break off their old associations and did what you did. But of course, they were tuned into it and they were open to it, because some people aren't open to it. Some people aren't open to success. Like, they really don't want success. Like, they say that they want it, but they don't, and they don't put in the work. And they'll get mad because you want a different kind of life. And there's nothing wrong with being different and wanting a different type of a life. You're not supposed to have the same life your parents had. That doesn't even make sense. You're supposed to live the life you want to live, man. And whether your parents agree with it or not, man, I mean, that's up to them. But as long as you're happy, man, you just got to be productive. Because another thing about it, if you're productive, that's what makes some people mad as well. Because, like, tag, man, you don't see it. You see it, but you might not hear them say it, but sometimes you can see it in their, maybe their face or what have you, that they're kind of like disappointed, or they really don't want you, kind of like feel it, that some people just don't want you to succeed and some people do. Because even sometimes your relationships change, and you can see like the power shift, and they could feel it too. And before they was real cool with you, when you was settling and when you just being mediocre, but then when you start getting serious, all of a sudden now the conversations are short, don't have anything to say to you, give you the brush off, start treating you differently. Because then before, when you was settling, they would say, yo, why don't you do such and such, man? You could be doing this. But then when you listen to that advice and you're like, okay, I'm going to start working on it, I'm going to start doing what they say, then I guess they thought that them saying that to you, that you wouldn't actually follow their advice. But if you follow it, man, and you start doing well, then all of a sudden everything starts changing, man. I think that they look at you as a threat. You're not the same like you used to. You can't be manipulated. You can't be used, and you can't be moved, man. You're just a totally different person. You're just making them look bad. But all in a nutshell, that's how you be productive. But of course, you got to give yourself some free time too. You got to once in a while take a break, maybe go to a museum or anything that you like doing, because you can't just go on go mode all the time 24/7. You burn yourself out and you start getting angry at yourself as well. Because even with dogs as well, dogs can't be on a go mode all the time, because you see that, you see sometimes when they with their owner and the owner's trying to get them to walk, they just plop down and they start scratching or something, or they just start looking around for real. They're like, I'm not doing it anymore, man. I'm tired. So even they get tired, man. And of course, sometimes you need to have fun with the dogs as well. You can't have them hunting all the time. You just can't have them just walking to random places that you want to go to, man. Like, you got to play catch with them and stuff. Get them out of the work mode. And I think that's the same thing with like productivity, man. And you put in what you get out of it. You're gonna be better at no matter what you're doing, man, whether it's basketball, football, or writing, or what have you. You put in that productivity, you'll be surprised, man. You'll be amazed, man.
That's right. And for those who want to stay amazed and pick up some copies of your ebooks and keep in touch with you, and keep up with all your future projects, how do we find you and all that magical smooth jazz?
Yeah, man. Again, thanks for having me. You can find me on Instagram under Emojis versus Punked. That's EMOJIVSPUNCT. Also, Mansu Edwards, MANSUEDWARDS. It's a lot of street photography on the Mansu Edwards Instagram. And some writings. I was blogging for 12 by 6 at a point in time. And also, posted a few books on there. But Emojis versus Punk, you could pretty much catch me on. Facebook, I'm hardly on, but you catch me at, Mansu Edwards, Mansu.Edwards on Facebook. Twitter is Ohasa. I really post on there. It's OHASSA. Where else? That's like pretty much it. And YouTube. I have the movie Texan New York City. If you want to watch the trailer or the movie, it's under Mansu Edwards, MansuEdwards. And if you want to shout me out, let me know about my material. My email is mansuedwards@gmail.com. You can reach me there. And that's just basically it, man. And just check out let me know what you think about my work, man.
Well, there you have it, folks. The wonderful Mansu Edwards. Go on ahead and head over to his YouTube page and subscribe, and head over to Amazon and pick up some ebooks for your Kindle. Give you a nice, quick distraction from daily living and go off into another world before you come back into that 9 to 5, that 8 to 6, or that 24/7 if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thank you, man. Once again, I appreciate this.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers, especially those who have book clubs and want to listen to the authors who write some amazing books. Be sure to check out the rest of the backlog too while you're at it, and share all those too. And in order to make the rest of your week the best of your week, remember to advance others, to advance yourself.